Hello, Mavic traders, and welcome out to your daily currency recap. This is Sanket here, and I'll be breaking down today's market price action and talk about our upcoming 24 hours. As always, we'll be talking about trades. We'll be looking at our analysis from a broader market perspective, bringing it down to our currency baskets, taking a look at major news events, and then break down into possible setups ahead. Let's get into it.
Disclaimer: this video was created for professional stock and option traders. Maverick Trading is a proprietary trading firm that employs professional traders around the world. Our traders trade firm capital and keep 70 to 80% of profits they generate. All trades and analysis in this video are for professional traders only. If you are interested in becoming a professional trader for Maverick, click the apply button in the video description. Let's break down what happened today.
As we jump into our market analysis, let's just jump right into the headlines here. So we had a couple of news events this morning. We had the Canadian CPI that was lower than expected. So this is again really paving the way for Bank of Canada to do rate cut in the next coming month. As far as the price action goes, we'll take a look at the percentage change. And we also had the US retail sales, which was higher than expected. So again, we are still getting this mixed numbers out of the US as far as the economic data goes. So this was again bullish for the dollar. But we'll see how the price action ended up for the day. Now, if we take a look at the percentage change today, well, as you can see that it was a decent day. We did have some movements. We are noticing relative weakness in the Aussie and Kiwi. We are getting this little counter trend move on the Swiss franc. We'll discuss that. But some of them are really doing exactly and some of them are moving exactly how he has been performing for the last few days. Euro and pound being consistently on the profitable side. Now we had the Canadian dollar, which ended up being higher. So this is where I always get that question. Well, it was a weak number. Why did the CAD rally? Well, this is where CAD was already weak going to the news event. So we just get that profit taking at that event. And we're just seeing a bit of a rally here in the short term. We'll see if this has any legs to it or probably roll over by tomorrow. Here we are with the USD again, slightly up. Dollar again is a range bound currency, so just bounce back and forth. The number was strong, but again, did not have a long-lasting impact on the US dollar here. And the Japanese yen, I want to talk about this one because it's just a flat performance. But if you look at the chart, we'll see that this is again holding on to a lot of the gains that we saw last week, something to keep a note on. Now, if you take a look at the other markets, look at the broader markets, well, it's a bullish market. The S&P again up 0.56%. World stock index is up. Gold is breaking out to new highs. Oil market to pull back, and crypto is just kind of going back and forth. So overall, nothing really has changed as far as the market sentiment goes. Now in the crypto markets, we're seeing a lot of back and forth. Bitcoin again is up, and we are seeing the Bitcoin crash slightly down. So we're getting a lot of swings both to the upside and downside. We'll see if this rally has come up to levels where we need to or change a trend score, or overall it stays the same in the downtrend. We'll take a look at the charts here. Now, as far as the outlook goes for our markets, nothing changed. It's a +3. You can see that the market again breaking out to new highs today. So again, this is a very bullish market price action, as we're seeing this summer. Now, if we take a look at the news events, so we have two already down. So we had the Canadian CPI and we had the US retail sales. Now we have the Kiwi CPI number tonight, and then we have the pound CPI tomorrow. So remember, CPI numbers are important, especially if they are way above or below expectation. That's where we see a bigger move. So we'll take a look at it on this CPI front, what happened with the Kiwi, which again is a relatively weaker currency, and pound being a relatively strong currency. So this is where the question is, if the big moves already happen, should we expect more weakness, or should we expect something for just like CAD today, where we just covered some profits on that news? So possibly we'll look at both scenarios, and we still have quite a bit of data to go through for the rest of the week. So this is where I think we'll probably have a lot more to go through, especially with the ECB rate statement on Thursday. There's still a lot of events to trade on. So let's just take a look at market analysis here and take a look at where the velocity scores are. And looking at the velocity score, well, this kind of surprises me. So it's franc being up +3. And then we are seeing Kiwi continue to be weaker, so that nothing has changed. We have euro and the pound being relatively stronger. Nothing has changed there. The Aussie has definitely turned lower after outperforming for the last few weeks. Again, this thing is now showing some relative weakness. Now we have the dollar and the CAD as a +1, but again, this can easily move towards the left, towards a -1. If the rally or the gains today easily fades away, then we'll have change that outlook. Now, Bitcoin, cryptos, you can take a look at it, Bitcoin and Ethereum, they are in a +2 in the short term. So definitely there is some momentum to the upside. Even though we have this trend to the downside, we're getting a nice bounce here. So let's just jump into the charts here and then take a look at some possible trades ahead.
Do you want to be a professional trader? Maverick Currencies is the oldest US-based Forex and crypto prop trading company that will pay you for trading with our capital. Trade our capital and keep 70 to 80% of the profits. We are looking for traders just like you that are hardworking and motivated. Click the apply link on the top right of this video to see if you have what it takes. That link takes you to a 4-minute video that explains the trader position available, and you read a list of FAQs that answer pretty much all the basic questions you have at this point. After watching the video and reading the FAQs, if you're interested, fill out an application, then you'll watch the full-length recruiting video, and then schedule an interview with one of our traders. Are you our next trader?
And looking at some possible trades ahead, let's just jump right into some currency baskets here. Because, we looked at things, we are looking at dollar. You can see that dollar today, I wanted to just highlight that. Dollar today was not it almost gave back all of its gains today. So it's not really showing relative strength here. Again, that's showing relative weakness here. But just keep in mind that when the moving averages flow flatline onto the currency basket, this is just a range bar price action. It rejected below this moving averages, but again, don't want to be shorting this until it really breaks below that. And you can trade in between the support and resistance. Right now, it's just kind of right in the middle here. So I think there's probably better currencies to trade. I had questions about Swiss franc because the move today, are we still on the negative side here? Remember I talked about how I wanted to get the clean break here. I don't have a clean break yet, but this is again in between that range, support and resistance. So if it breaks out to the upside, then probably Swiss franc is going to rise. But again, this is where we have some relative overhead resistance here. So we'll see if this breaks out higher. But so far, in the short term, price action looks good over there. Now, in the other ones, euro, pound, they still look pretty bullish here. You can see the euro and the pound, they are both look pretty extended here. So we probably would see some sort of profit taking, especially on the news, something you got to watch out for. Looking at the Canadian dollar, we saw the exact same thing. Take a look at it. We were already so weak going into the news that when the news came out, it actually just rose on that news. So if you're looking to take profits, those are great times to take profits. Now, is the Canadian dollar going to rally? Well, we'll see what happens. But for the short term, it's off the bottom. So that's really where we are at. So maybe we can go sideways for a little bit. So what I'm really surprised about is the Aussie weakness. You can see that the Aussie was pretty strong for the most part for the last month here, and now it's showing relative weakness. So I don't mind taking a look at Aussie shorts here, and then also Kiwi CPI. Remember, we have the Kiwi CPI tonight. It's making a little bear rally here, but again, I'm iffy about this, buy the rumor, sell the news kind of a price action here. So let's see as far as the chart goes, what looks the best. So, here we are, we're looking at euro against the Aussie. How does that look? You can see that I'm just going to look at 4-hour chart. They all have nice breakouts. You can see continue run. Looking for some pullbacks or shallow pullbacks to really go long into. So those setup looks good. I'm not going to jump on pound Aussie yet because, again, looking for the news event tomorrow. Perhaps we will be taking a look at euro over the pound as far as that goes. So, if we want to avoid that news event. We also have Kiwi here. Keep a close eye on Aussie Kiwi because, remember, this thing has broken out very nicely as well. If this changes at all, then I want to change my outlook on the Aussie Kiwi. Right now, again, Aussie Kiwi both looks weak. But if you take a look at Aussie against the Kiwi on this chart, Aussie clearly looks like the winner here. So what I'll be looking for is, see what kind of price action we get. And based on that, we'll have a clear idea if Kiwi is going to remain the weakest currency, or in the shorter term, we'll probably see the Aussie weaken further. So I'll be watching this tonight when we get the Kiwi CPI. So those are the ones. But let's just talk about the yen here. Because, here's the yen, and I kind of find that interesting as yen is holding on to most of the gains. So it's not really moving much today, but it's holding on to the gains. So the question is that, is it ready to roll over yet? The answer is no. It's not ready to roll over yet because so far it's holding on to that price action here. So do we want to buy it here? Well, I have to be really on the guard here. If I want to go long, it has to break above that previous resistance. But at the same time, I need to see it actually break lower, break below this moving average to really catch some momentum to the downside. But right now, I think the yen looks pretty strong here. So don't want to touch the yen, and dollar looks iffy. So there's definitely some uncertainty out here as far as some of the currency pairs go. Even if you take a look at the dollar yen, you can see the dollar yen is just hanging around the support. So let's say if the dollar yen breaks below the support, I actually don't mind that short if it does break that, because you can see that in the past, in the last 2 months, in May and June, it got towards that 50-day moving average and it did bounce. Right now, this bounce is not looking as strong as it did previously. So this is where it could be showing some red flags here. So I think you want to be watching out for the dollar yen here. For a short, it needs to break below the support. But right now, I think it could consolidate for a little bit before it could really break out one way or the other. So Kiwi crosses for tonight. Aussie Kiwi, I'll be watching tonight. Looking for any continuity or any reversal pattern. And then make sure you pair them against the relatively stronger currency. If you want to avoid the pound in the morning, then I think euro probably looked better here. And again, Swiss franc momentum shorter term is there, but I don't want to be jumping on the Swiss franc just because it's rallying here in the shorter term. I think I want to stick with whatever is performing much better here. So that's the game plan here. Looking for the Kiwi and CPI, pound CPI reports. Make sure you're playing relative term weakness. Just trade what's moving. Right now, Aussie Kiwi is the one on the weaker side. Here we are with the yen still staying strong, and euro and the pound. So those are the ones we'll be watching. Dollar CAD looks pretty iffy to me, so want to avoid those two currencies there for the short term. Thanks for joining here. We'll see you in the next update. Happy trading.